Good morning, everybody. I'm Senator James Skoufis, Chair of the Senate's Investigations and Government Operations Committee. I'm joined by my friend and colleague, Assemblyman John McDonald, Chair of the Assembly Standing Committee on Government Operations. And we're here to host a joint hearing to discuss video conferencing by the state legislature, because as part of the 2022-2023 enacted state budget, a new section of Law 103A, video conferencing by public bodies, we are required here in the state legislature, pursuant to this new section, to hold this hearing ahead of a joint resolution that would allow the state legislature to move forward and engage in hybrid or partial open meetings via video conferencing. Local bodies, other public bodies, they are already able to engage in this type of hybrid activity, but for the state legislature to do so, we have to pass that joint resolution, and as part of that process, have to host this hearing. So we look forward to the testimony. I think we have one individual who's testifying, but also a number of written comments that have been submitted. We look forward to engaging on this very important issue. This obviously came about from COVID, but we found that there was great value in limited circumstances in engaging in hybrid activity. For example, just today, the one person who's testifying is doing so through video conferencing. And so it provides that flexibility, that accessibility that does not exist for some individuals. And so with that, I'll turn it over to my colleague in the Assembly.
Thank you, Senator Skoufis. And also joining me today is our Ranker for Government Operations, Mike Durso, and colleague and friend, Member Steve Otis from the Assembly as well. And we appreciate everyone's participation today. We look forward to hearing their input and their testimony. As you know, the purpose of the open meeting law is to promote transparency from public bodies performing the business of the people. The law ensures that the public has the right to attend these meetings of public bodies, to listen to the debate, and to watch the decision-making process. As you know, the Assembly Governmental Operations Committee, along with the Senate and the Executive, worked on updating the open meetings law in last year's enacted budget. These changes were adopted in light of the enhanced use of video conferencing by state and local governments to conduct official business in a safe manner. As many of you know, at the local government level, many entities have gone through and conducted their public hearings to arrive at their decision-making process. And today, in fact, is what the legislature is starting to embark upon. I do want to thank the New York State Committee on Open Government, who was unable to attend today, but I would like to acknowledge them as a valuable resource to the legislature and to the public. The committee provides written legal advisory opinions and has drafted a model resolution and procedures regarding the use of video conferencing, which I understand has been very helpful in guiding many of the public bodies as they adopted their own meeting resolutions. I look forward to the comments that we're going to hear today, and I want to also just reference the fact that we are living in modern times. As Senator Skoufis rightly pointed out, the video conferencing and the changes came about because of COVID, and like any other process, we've learned an awful lot along the way, with the focus being primarily on making sure the public has full access and government has full transparency.
Before we get started, I do want to acknowledge and recognize that we're joined by Senator Brad Hoylman-Siegel. So I guess we'll turn it over now to our first witness, correct?
I think so, yes.
Right, so I think we have today from reInvent Albany, Rachel Faust. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Can you hear me?
We can.
Oh, we can.
The floor is yours.
Perfect. Okay, thanks so much. Good morning. My name is Rachel Faust. I'm the Senior Policy Advisor for reInvent Albany. We advocate for more transparent and accountable New York government. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony as the legislature considers authorizing the use of video conferencing by the Senate and the Assembly. We urge the legislature to build on the 2022 changes to the open meetings law, which permitted hybrid, in other words, in-person and remote meetings, and included new requirements for public access. And in our written testimony, you'll see we put together a summary of the changes to the law and how they match some of the Watchdog Group recommendations. We also support the legislature passing a resolution to allow its members to participate in public meetings by video conferencing. However, we ask that this resolution be made available for public and legislative review at least 3 days before it's voted on, as is currently required for legislation. Passage of a resolution will ensure that members are able to participate in meetings should unforeseen situations arise, such as illnesses. And due to the changes in the open meetings law made in 2022, when members participate in meetings by video conferencing, this will lead to a number of positive changes, including that all the meetings must be webcast, and this would include committee meetings. And we acknowledge the Assembly began webcasting select committee meetings earlier this year. Where public comment is allowed, members of the public must be able to testify remotely. This will make public hearings much more accessible for the public, who have often been required to attend in person. Although, of course, as Senator Skoufis noted, not today. Video will be required to be posted within 5 days of the meeting, and after it is posted, it must remain online for 5 years. We hope the legislature exceeds the minimum requirements for transparency and public access under the open meetings law. So specifically, whether or not legislators participate remotely in public meetings, like committee meetings, we believe they should all be webcast, and the public should always be given the opportunity to testify remotely in public hearings. We strongly support public bodies holding meetings that allow in-person and remote participation. And as we've testified to the Assembly in 2021 and recommended with 14 other civic groups last year, we believe a hybrid system has huge advantages. It makes it easier for the broader public to participate, and it also maintains that traditional accountability of in-person meetings. New Yorkers learned a great deal during the COVID-19 pandemic, including that remote public meetings were a boon to people with disabilities, parents of young children. I myself am a parent of an elementary school child, so I appreciate being able to participate remotely today. And also many other civic-minded people whose circumstances make it challenging to attend meetings in person. We believe it would be a huge step backward for New York State's state and local governments to stop offering public participation remotely, and it would be particularly harmful to the disabled community. Likewise, we understand that there are many advantages of in-person meetings, and believe it would be a mistake to only do remote meetings. So fortunately, agencies like the MTA and the legislature with today's hearing have shown it's possible to do both and hold successful hybrid meetings. While we're on the topic of the open meetings law, we urge the legislature to further improve it and ensure that the requirements are workable for all public bodies. So first, we ask you to include the governor's proposal. This is Part X of the Article 7 TED bill in your one House bills. This would allow public bodies that are formed specifically to address issues of disabilities to meet remotely. I think this is a particularly important issue for that community. Second, we ask that you close the open meetings law loophole for public bodies that are purely advisory. Legislation passed in 2021 arguably created a loophole that makes it so that purely advisory bodies no longer have to hold open meetings. We think this unfortunately contradicted the legislature's intent with this bill, and it should be a fairly simple fix to close this loophole. Lastly, we support reducing the in-person requirements for hybrid meetings. As certain bodies have been implementing the open meetings law changes, it's clear that the in-person quorum requirements they may need to be updated, and some bodies are finding it very difficult to make quorum. I would say in particular, this issue has been a problem for community boards within New York City. When we made our initial recommendations about hybrid meetings, we supported either the presiding officer having to be in person or a quorum. As the legislation, the law was passed last year, a quorum was required, but it appears in practice, unfortunately, this quorum requirement is meaning that some of the local bodies are citing local emergency orders, like the COVID-19 order at the city level, to circumvent the requirements altogether and are in practice just holding remote meetings. So if state law relaxes the in-person requirement, requiring a presiding officer to be present in person, that would in practice actually make the meetings more accessible and more likely to be held in a hybrid manner. So thanks so much for your consideration. I'll be available for any questions that you have.
Thank you, Ms. Foss, and I think I speak for everyone in extending our gratitude, not just for your testimony here, but also reInvent Albany's presence here in the state legislature and making sure that we continue to move our state forward in a transparent and responsible manner. So thank you for being here virtually. I know the Senate, we don't have any questions, so I'll turn it over to the Assembly.
The Assembly has no questions, so we too want to thank you for your testimony. Listening to your comments, you recognize that we live in a modern era. Life happens, but same token, we want to make sure that the representatives' voices are heard and the public hears them as well.
So with that, I mean, we have some written comments here that the committees will certainly review as we move forward. We don't have any further witnesses, so unless there are any closing comments from colleagues, then we're all set. Senate, we're good? Assembly? Okay, thanks very much. This was an easy one. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.